All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our presentation about understanding resources in the community. I'm Ruth Nickens. I'm the Health and Wellness Program Coordinator at the Tallahassee Senior Center. And Nick Schrader, who is our Resource Coordinator, will be doing the presentation today. Feel free to put up your hand or interrupt if you have questions. This is intended to be pretty interactive. And just an interesting point that I wanted to share with you all, as I noticed that many of you do work in the aging industry or the aging network, is that we have recently developed 2 documents that list all the different resources that we have information on. And we think that'll be really helpful to distribute to different agencies and organizations so that they know all the different things we can provide resources on, so they can better utilize them to work with their residents or clients or consumers. So there will be slides of those in the slideshow, so you'll get to see what it is I'm talking about. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Nick. Thank you to all of you for being here this morning. And I hope that you get some really valuable information out of this program.
All right, so like Ruth said, my name's Nick Schrader, the Resource Coordinator at the Tallahassee Senior Center. And I'm just going to kind of briefly go through, I'm going to sort of explain what I do and the resources that we have available, kind of how we put those together, keep them updated, how you can find them. I'm not sure, like Ruth said, it looks like we have a lot of Aging Network folks here. I'm not sure how many maybe senior participants we have as well, but so I'll try to tailor it for the group that we have. So I'm gonna just kind of get started here. Hold on one second. My PowerPoint is not cooperating. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Hey Nick, and
yes.
One listener says that you're kind of quiet, so if you could speak more loudly, that would be wonderful.
Sure, yeah. I can try to do that. Okay, so the resource cards are a service that we provide at the Senior Center. These are available in a variety of ways, which I will kind of address here in a minute. But so basically what I do is try to look at what's available, locally, regionally, nationally, put this together in one document that we can keep up to date, that's available. You can pick them up at the center, we can email them to you, you can get them on the website, and just kind of make it as user-friendly as possible for folks searching out these resources. So this slide's just talking about what I do. 1 second here, sorry. Okay, so in addition to, putting all these cards together, I'm also available if anyone has any questions or needs any help accessing the resources. Myself and also Sandra Stoudemeyer, who works at the center as well, can help in this regard. So I take phone calls, well, lately, mostly phone calls, but as we're starting to reopen, I'll be able to see more people in person, hopefully, in the coming months. So finding the resources, there's the website is really kind of what we're focusing on. It's what I've spent a lot of time doing this last year, is getting all of this information updated and posted to the website so that it can be easily accessible for those that have access to the internet, at least. And then there's also other options, like I said, coming up to the center, which is we're starting, like I said, we're starting to reopen, so that's becoming a better option for some folks. Obviously, we have a phone number also here that you can call and ask for, again, Sandra Stoudemeyer or myself. Sandra's at the center much more than I am these days, but we're also both available by phone. So, and then we have, in addition to the staff that work at the center, we also have many satellite sites, which I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, a lot of different centers, and also in the outlying areas, community centers. And so some of those folks are much more familiar with the staff that run that programming. That staff also has access to get this information and get it to them. So that's also another option as well. So this is just a list of everything that's available on the site currently. There's still other resources being, I'm still developing cards for other resources that will be up. Trying to think, I'm working on retirement resources at the moment, and that'll be the next one to get posted up to the website. But this is everything that we have, sort of general resource titles here. And then this is everything that's COVID specific, which was a good deal of what I was doing early on, and kind of getting more into updating the general resources now. But so this is kind of, and I'm gonna, in a few minutes, I'll kind of go through how to get to this stuff on the website. And you can see all of this, you can see the full list there as well. And we can open up anything that anyone might be curious about and wanting to know what's there. Or maybe some of you want to make sure that you're included on these cards as well, so we can look at that. So this is just, I've got a couple examples in here, kind of just what they look like. I try to keep it to 2 pages, front and back, so it's easy to use as a handout for folks. So we've got, so this is the in-home safety card. So I won't go through like everything on here, but we can hit some of the highlights. But we certainly, we have emergency information listed first, and you've got some gas leak information, which is really good. And then there's 4 really good fall prevention resources here. So what I've done is included, in order to keep these to a page front and back, it's hard to fill in all this information without using a lot of these links. So when I do the links, I try to include them as the full website name. So if anyone is getting this as a handout, they could still, pull, type in an address later on online and be able to get to these resources that way. So try to make it as user-friendly as possible, considering both the fact that people are looking at this online and some people are just getting it as a handout. Whoops, shoot, sorry, I hit my mouse scroll. Okay. And then there's just some quick tips right here for preventing falls. And then some home modification information. Got a lot of medical alert options. I didn't realize there were quite so many until we were putting this together. And of course, all of their links for those. And then some additional home services here at the bottom. And then next one I have here is the food resource card, which this one has, I believe this is a pretty exhaustive list of all of the food pantries. I did a lot of calling around on this one to make sure that I had information correct. Most of them are faith-based, but you see we have elder care services on here. They keep in addition to all of the services that they provide, all the in-home services for homebound seniors that they're able to provide, they keep a well-stocked pantry, and then one of the cooler things on here that I really like that I found out recently is this Help Shelf Tallahassee. So these are, if anybody has seen like the little tiny lending libraries all around town, it's like you'll see them like in neighborhoods and stuff. It's just a little, they make it look like a little house and keep books in there. This is the exact same idea, except they're little food pantries. There's, I think, a total of 9 in town, maybe a few more than that. So they have their Facebook page here, and then also there's a link to a map that'll show you the exact locations around town. And this has been really cool for my kids. They love this. There's one really close to our house, and they love filling it up. So that one's kind of neat. And then Second Harvest obviously is included on here, and they have a recent program that they started during the pandemic where they partnered with DoorDash to start offering these. It's a 19-pound month's worth of dry goods that you can have delivered to your house. So that's included on here. I've got the pet food pantries, which is a few of those. Elder Care Service, again, they keep a few things of food and treats in the Meals on Wheels office. At least they did when I worked there. I think that's where they still keep them. And some few others. And then we have, the list of low cost meal prep sites, which a lot of those are not operating currently. They've, I guess, adjusted how they operate. It's not as many congregate meal sites running as there were. There's a lot more, I believe many of them have switched to like a week's worth of frozen meals can be picked up. But the numbers are there so people can call and find out exactly how that's being done currently. And then there's some restaurant services, got a few other, yeah, this gets into food delivery services. And then this is the Sun Camp, which I believe that's sort of like, that's like the food stamp program, EBT card. So there's information on all of that. So that's like a couple of examples, and we can look, like I said, if anybody wants to see anything specific when we get to going through the website, we can do that. So this slide just kind of lays out for anyone exactly how to get to the website or get the resources on the website. So if we pull this up, so this is the website, this is the foundation website. We also have a page on the city's website, but the foundation website is where we're keeping all of these resources. So the resource tab is here. Once you click on that, and it's just a quick scroll down, and this is a list of all of the resources currently maintained. So in addition to the resource cards, there's also some other information here. This is all COVID related information, but links to resources, research, presentations, some specifically about the vaccine, others just keeping you updated on the virus and where we're at with that. So that's so once here, all you do, these are just PDFs, you just click on them and they pop up, and there you go. So you could, so one of the other things I was going to sort of talk about is, let's see, whoops.
Hey, Nick, I'm
Yes.
going to interrupt you and tell you that
Sure.
when you open the links, we're not viewing those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let me see. Okay, so you can't see anything right now?
We just see the slide that says sharing resource cards with friends and family.
Huh, okay. Well,
That happens sometimes.
yeah, that's weird. Okay, yeah, so, well, it does work. I'm looking at it. I'm sorry that it's not showing up. That's odd, but okay. So let me go back here. I'll just go back here. So once we get, okay, so as far as sharing this information, and this is more for, so printing out and handing out the resource cards is an option. Obviously, it's not ideal, primarily because these things are updated regularly. So some people can get outdated information that way, but sometimes that's the best option you have if someone doesn't have internet access. So that's always an option. Pasting the web address into an email is a good option as well. And there's also these little social media buttons which show up at the bottom of, here, I'll go back to, let's see. Yeah, here we go. So you guys can see this page.
What we're seeing is the slide that says sharing resource cards.
Still the slide. Okay, why
Yeah.
is it not going to?
I don't know the answer. Does anyone else have thoughts on that? Feel free to unmute or type them in the chat box.
Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, Nick, it has to deal with the screen that you're sharing.
Right, yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can get this fixed here. Hang on. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so this should be showing that you guys see it now.
Yes.
Okay, so here, so I'll go back to the main. All right, so this is the main page of the website. Again, this is the Tallahassee Foundation website. We also have a page on the city site, but this is our foundation site where we maintain a lot of class information, your membership, events coming up, the lifelong learning class programs, and then the resource tab is right here. And so this will get you, so in addition to the resources, there's also, you can come here, we keep the weekly email blasts that are sent out with information about upcoming events, that's available here. And then the Active Living magazine, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, we keep that here as well. And then the resources are all down here, kind of towards the bottom of the page. So there's a column for the COVID resources, and then the general resource titles here. And then there's some more COVID information over here, which these are links to presentations and the research and stuff. So the social media buttons, which are kind of cool. So if you guys have Facebook page, Twitter, something like that, you can use this for email as well. So if you were to click on here, you can just pop it straight into an email and send that to anyone. So this will get them a link to the page, the resource web page. And then, whoops. And then from there, they would be able to access any of these resource cards.
Hey, Nick, a few people are still having trouble hearing you. So if there's anything you can do to speak louder or closer to your mic, that would be great.
I don't know if there's, I wonder. I'm pretty close. I'm afraid if I get much closer, you're just going to see my nose on the camera.
Okay.
But
all right. Most people are, a few people are having.
All right. Well, that's kind of basically it. That's just how you get to the stuff. So like I said, if I see, I can pull up, I'll open up one of these here real quick. So the food card. So you guys can see this when I open this.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Right. Excellent. So the other thing, I keep at the bottom of each of these page, we keep the date here of when they've been last updated. So that gives you an idea too of how current the information is when you look at this stuff. But does anybody have any questions? Are there any of these resource cards? Whoops. Let me do that. Make sure I'm sharing this again.
Nick, I know we were talking about this earlier, but some people hadn't joined us. What are the most commonly requested resource cards?
Okay, so I would say it kind of fluctuates a bit, but we get a lot of people ask about the food resources. Particularly with the last year and everything, wanting to make sure they're able to access that. I've gotten a few recently on the memory care has been asked about quite a bit. So that's that card. This is a relatively new one, but basically it kind of just starts out with kind of what to look for if you're concerned about your memory, and it has suggestions for how to maintain memory. And then it's got the two main local resources here, the Memory Disorder Clinic and Alzheimer's Project, and what they offer. And then it goes into just these this is mostly national web-based resources here. And then I've got a list of all the assisted living facilities that have memory disorder specific programming. And then there's a few more, there's a few web-based support group options for caregivers at the bottom. This one has been asked about a bit recently. That was one I highlighted in the last presentation that I did.
So we had a card for caregivers, but now we have a card that is for a person or a family of someone that feels there might be developing some memory loss.
There's still a caregiving resource card too. So this covers a wider range of caregivers than just those caring for folks with memory disorder. So this is one. So it includes. It's got a lot of. A lot of the. There's some overlap, of course, but then this is broader than the previous one. So is there, let's see, those two, and then the, where is it at? The legal resource, this one gets used quite a bit. And so this kind of starts with an explanation of what an elder law attorney is. There's a specific certification that lawyers can get that focus on elder law issues. And then I have a list here of local attorneys that practice in the area. Some have the certification, like Victoria Hewler, Twyla Sketchley. Some do not, but they all practice in the area. And then there's also a lot of other legal resources included here. So if someone needs, is in need of maybe pro bono options or reduced rates, there's different organizations that can help with that. But this is, again, a pretty popular resource card as well. And
Cheryl's asking that you scroll a little bit slower, please.
oh, sure. I'm sorry. Is there any topic in specific that someone would like me to kind of cover in a little more detail?
Hi, Nick. This is Cheryl. I'm just trying to read your screen.
Sure.
If you could stop scrolling for a second, please.
Yep. Hands off. Sorry.
We get a lot of these requests from people across the state, as well as in Tallahassee, including Tallahassee at the Department of Elder Affairs. So I'm just trying to look at the resources you have and see if there's anything that we can also provide. Something that I don't see, and maybe I've missed it. Do you have resources on fraud?
We have, okay, so that's, trying to remember. I have one that I'm working on that's a more general. What I do have, if I can find it over here, there's
avoiding scams.
There's a COVID specific scams, because that was a thing early on. And so this one is just, but it's, like I said, it's all sort of COVID specific.
Okay,
I don't believe I have it up here. So there are some older resource cards, that were developed before I started working at the center that I'm in the process of updating. And I haven't put those on the website yet because they're like sometimes up to 2 years out of date. And I want to get them current before I post them.
Right.
But that's something I really should probably address as one of the next ones. I do need to get that up here.
That's a great question, Cheryl. And Nick, why don't you talk a little bit about where we get our ideas for the resource cards?
Sure. So like I said, I do have I have what was done, before I got there. So I have those that I'm going through, which I have 3 or 4 left. And then I get suggestions from coworkers, obviously, people calling, looking for resources that we may not have anything put together on. And so that'll get passed along to me. And so a lot of times I'll put something together from that. So if you have any suggestions, like, the fraud one, I'm definitely addressing. That one's kind of in development, but anything like that you're not seeing that you think people would need, I can certainly work on it and see what I can find. But yeah, mostly, a lot of times, and then, I talk to people too that are calling, looking for something. Sometimes it's really, somebody has like a really specific suggestion. I had a call from someone who has I guess it was an email passed on to me. Someone who has like a house in town that they wanted to rent to a senior. They felt it was a good location. I guess they felt, for them, they felt better about renting to. So, obviously we don't have anything that specific, but I do have, if I can find it on here, I think it's this one. So there's a list here on this downsizing and moving resource card of attorneys that specialize in senior real estate. So I was able to just give her the name of these attorneys, and then she went through them to try to see if they knew of anyone that might be interested. So yeah, basically I get them from, staff, community partners, people just calling and looking. But yeah.
I think it would be a good idea to email everybody who registered today the 2 lists that you developed.
Right. Yeah, I can do that. No problem.
Resources that we currently have.
Sure.
And of course, we're open. I was saying we're open to ideas if you all see a gap anywhere. This relates to the Age-Friendly Community Project in that one of the gaps that seniors perceived existed in this community was access to resources. So part of our intention with developing today's program is to try to help spread the word that the resources are out there and there is a way for folks to access them pretty simply and easily. So we appreciate your help in helping, in getting that word out. Does anyone have any other questions or comments? Feel free to unmute yourself or chat in the box if you do. Does everyone feel from watching this that they know now how to access the Senior Center's resources? The 3 different ways? You can just chat your answer in the chat box. Sheila just posted the website address as well.
I'm sorry, what were all 3 of the ways? There's online and through social media. Is that the second way? Are these going to be printed?
Yeah, well, we do print them as someone calls or someone stops by the center asking for assistance or needing resources. That's usually when they're printed out, and then we also print them out for some of our programming. So we have the Leon County Senior Outreach Program, which works in sort of like in the outlying communities around town, and they do a lot of right now what they're doing is a lot of drive-throughs where they have bags of all kinds of stuff, and they're being included in those bags. So that's one option. And then if you call or stop by the center, or rather if you call or email myself or Sandra Stoudemeyer, then they can pass them along, by email. And then and that's true with any of our staff too, that we all have access to these, simply attach them to an email and get them sent out. And then also the website, which, and our website is linked to a lot of our social media as well, or all of it.
Yeah, I apologize. A few people had sound problems and I'm sorry. We will email information to everybody though, so that you won't have missed anything. Any other questions? Okay. Well, with that, I thank you all for being here today. I hope you're leaving with some valuable information. Thank you so much, Nick, for putting this together. I also want to give a shout out to Sarah Vernon, our intern now, fellow staffer, who really worked hard on that safety card and probably has assisted you in updating some of the others as well. And of course to Sheila, our director, who has just been amazing during this most difficult past year. And okay, anything else? All right, well, I'm going to end this now, and it will be available to watch on our website fairly soon. Thank you all so much. Bye. Great presentation, Nick. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job, Nick.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what was happening with the sound. I don't know. I'm sorry about that.
I think maybe she didn't have her sound on.
Okay.
Yeah, there were only 2 people that didn't have sound, so
Okay.
it was on their end.
If we can give her a call or something though, to make sure if she's got some specific questions or something she's looking for.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was Lois.
that would be good. Yeah.
All
You know
right.
Lois?
No, but I can get her information off the registration.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was interesting. So it was mostly professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that. I was going
They
thinking it'd be
they
more
are
like what I did
looking.
with Wendy.
Well, they're looking to us for things.
Mhm.
You know, I just really think we're ahead of it as far as